Greetings, everyone. I am Maris Memes. I am the founder of Dreams of Light FC, the free company that is on Cactar. I wanted to talk about the patch 6.08. I think that is possibly the dumbest update that I have seen so far patched into the game since Endwalker's release. And I wanted to express my ultimate opinion, unscripted. It's my first video back on YouTube after about a year since I quit. I originally quit because of YouTube sued and sent a cease and desist to RhythmBot, so I kind of just ceased all operations because of that, just out of response, because I thought it was disgusting. But I just wanted to put this on blast everywhere, regardless. Now, I majorly want to talk about the fact that I'm mostly a black mage caster main / paladin / white mage. I do those three vividly back to back. They're pretty much my primary. But for the most part, I have main black mage since day one, since Haven's Ward. So to give you a background, I don't like the current state of black mage. I like the way it plays. I don't like its potency balancing. The potency is terrible. But I'll get to that part. But I want to go down the list as it's displayed on the patch notes, starting with Paladin. And my thoughts on Paladin. So Paladin's changes were of the following. Spirit Within was changed to have 20 more potency. Expation was changed to have 40 more potency. So, 40 more potency and 20 more potency for those moves, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with those changes. I agree with them. Then comes Blades of Faith, Blades of Truth, and Blade of Valor. Basically, the Configure combo. The Configure combo already has enough damage. I don't think it really needed more. What needed more... Well, actually, yeah. It needed a little bit, but not as much as it had gotten. That's a lot of potency. For Blades of Faith, the difference is literally, let's see here, 52, almost 170. Yeah, 170 potency added. Then the other one, the second combo into it, is an additional 150. And then Blades of Valor is, it's too much. That's way too much added in. My biggest concern playing through Paladin for the first month of Endwalker, and I main Black Mage through it, so I didn't touch it until it was my third class that I did. My experience with it was Holy Spirit was basically unused. It feels stale to just sort of you go into Configure, you start Rescat, you get your 5 charges off, and you have 4 attacks of Holy Spirit, or Clemency if you really need to heal your party, like a utility tank would do. And that's what Paladin is, it's a utility tank. My issue is that when you're sitting there spamming Holy Spirit, you're mostly as a tank, your main focus of attack is strength stat, because you're a melee class, technically. So the only way you would benefit from using Holy Spirit and all the other crap is to do intelligence tinctures, which that's just stupid. Why would you do that? You would do more damage using the grade 6 strength tinctures and such, and going into your Configure combo, or leaving the combo and just doing your 1, 2, 3 fight and flight, and then your so forth, your continued rotation that you did in Shadowbringers. But it just feels stale. Holy Spirit, by default alone, does 270, sorry. And then, with the Configure up, or Rescat up, the combo, it does double. So it's basically 540 every hit. And that's about 2,000 potency damage. That's a lot, but it doesn't feel like it's amazing. Because if you look at the damage that you could do via melee with a Tincture and Fight and Flight up, and even, let's say, I don't know, Dragon Sight on you, or a Dance Partner. I don't know if anyone would Dance Partner a tank, but let's just say in theory we did here. You would probably do more damage, ultimately, than you would with the magic attacks. And I get that these bursts are a good thing. And you gotta remember, the Configure combo is also AoE. And that's a lot of fucking potency damage to start with. So, Paladin, I give it a B+. Those are some good nerfs and good upgrades. I don't think it needed more. I think if it needed anything else, honestly, just a little bit more. I feel like Holy Celtron, that move should be targetable. It should be able to be put onto somebody else. Let's say you're down, you have one healer left, they're at 10%, they're out of GCDs, they can't instantly heal themselves, and they're still trying to heal you as a tank. All you have as a Paladin is Clemency, Cover, and Intervention. You can't use Cover because even if there's an invuln or TB coming up, and they get hit, it's going to ignore your invuln, and it's just going to hit you anyway and suck your HP out. Intervention doesn't do as much. Holy Seltron, giving a regen to another player or another healer to help them stand up and start fighting again, to be able to heal you and survive, sustain, I think it needs that. I think Intervention should be changed to also be kind of like a regen add-on or something like that. I just feel like it needed that little bit more extra boost to help it out, to be able to help other players sustain. Paladin's a great class for mentors to help keep everyone else alive and still deal the damage necessary, do the mechanics as necessary, and it's very helpful. It helps other tanks stay alive. You could duo easily with a Warrior and Paladin right now, almost anything. Okay, now for me to go over Warrior's main updates and nerfs, okay? It got 50 potency added to Tomahawk, which is basically the equivalent of shield lob for Paladin. What the fuck? That's it? No nerfs to go down or nothing to go up? Nothing? None at all. Just that. No increasing the inner release charges, nothing like that? Not at all? No changes to Holm Gang? Nothing? You had so many options that you could have done there. I mean, Warrior can automatically right now out DPS some DPS in some situations. It can out DPS casters very easily because it is a melee class. And I'll get to casters in a minute because right now I am pissed the fuck off at the state of casters. But there could have been so much more done to Warrior this patch. And just nothing. You might as well have just pissed off every Warrior main already. Be honest. Let's be honest here. It's no. I give Warriors patch notes, Warriors changes. I give it a D+. Really, that you could have done a lot more changes to the class than just one change of 50. That's an insult to me. That's pretty insulting to some people that main Warrior too. Very much more so. Now let's go over Monk, the next class change, okay? It had also one change, which, fair enough, whatever. I don't really care for this one. But I'm a little, and by a little, I mean more disappointed. When they removed and they added the riddles of wind, riddle of earth, riddle of fire, riddle of wind. Riddle of wind is just, it's stupid. It's auto attack increase, to increase your auto attack speed. Like, who is going to use auto attack when you're going to be punching skills in constantly? You're a fist class. You're going to beat the crap out of everything. You're going to be pressing buttons. The class the skill that got upgraded was a potency change of 150 added to Phantom Rush, which, alright, fair enough, whatever, that's your final move. I still think we should get Fist of the Wind back. Your passive speed sprint boost. I mean, it's great. I mean, we totally needed fucking auto attack. We should have just kept Fist of the Wind. If you go back and do your Pugilist quest line and you help the old man, you see him use Fist of the Wind in the spa job quest or whatever. So it still exists in code, just put it back. Or change Riddle of Wind and just change it to what Fist of Wind is. Because we don't need Riddle of Wind. It's stupid. Change that. Get rid of it. And change everything else. Fix it. Give back the, what is it? The shining effect that the character used to get when they would have their dots or whatever up for that class. I can't remember what they were called because it's been so long now, but, like, the class is, it's currently the highest DPS class already in tier lists. Why it needed more potency already than it already has is just a little much. I don't think it should have gotten a potency increase. What it should have gotten was a decrease and added abilities back to make the class fun again. Like, I liked having, going into an alliance raid as a monk, popping fucking Fist of the Wind right at the start, having it always on, sprinting, and somebody using Peloton, and I sprint just in front of everyone and just go right to the front. And I just start AoEing right at the start in, like, Crystal Tower raids. That was fun. Now it's just you can't sprint for nothing. You're not as athletic as you were in Stormblood, like in the, you know, how they showed it off in Stormblood in the trailers. It's not, it's underwhelming to me. And they should re-add that. Fist of the Wind needs to be re-added back to the game appropriately, because Riddle of Wind sucks. No one's going to be using auto attack at this stage in the game. Next one. And I give that update, I give that a C-. Because at least they didn't change the potencies to make it any more nerfed, because the class is already the top tier class and most people are playing it right now. So, I mean, bottom line, just give it some more speed and make it more fun and you're good. And balance out damage for speed and you should be good. That should be a good upgrade. But unfortunately, it's not, so I give it a C-. Alright, now let me talk about Dragoon. Dragoon actually did get some very good changes. I like these. Dragon Sight was changed from 12 yards to 30 yards. That's already a plus. I automatically, this went from a D, starting on a D to F rank, just jumping straight to C+. Just in that. Radiant Thrust potency has been increased by 20. And Stardiver was increased by 120. Stardiver is hard to get to just immediately do. You can't just do it. You have to build up to it. So having that potency increase was pretty good. It could have been a little bit more. But let me go over the other ones. Heaven's Thrust potency has been increased from 430 to 480. And Chaotic Spring potency has been increased by 20. And Rear Combo has been increased by 20. Okay. I give that a B-. I give that a B-. Those could have been a little better. I mean, the potency upgrades, it seems like they're just doing like, they're tacking on like a penny or a nickel here, and in terms of, you know, whatever, just 10 or 15 or 20. It seems like that's a trending theme, because they don't seem like they know where they need to boost everything yet. So these changes aren't final, and we're going to keep seeing more, I assume. So, again, B- for that one. So, Nin, I'm going to give a D+ right off the bat. I'm not going to read the potency changes. They could have done a little bit more towards Trick Attack and nerfing it. Or, you know, with Armor Crush specifically, they mentioned that. Like, when you hear the name Armor Crush, you would assume, okay, the enemy gets a debuff or something towards their defense. That's not the case, and to see another debuff on top of Trick Attack would actually make Nin utility. Like, I know Nin's already utility for Trick Attack alone, but to have that additional thing added onto it would help in raid content. It would actually change. It would be a ball changer. But it's not. And it's a little depressing. It's like another dot that the casters get in their roll ability. I'm not going to mention which one it is because it's a pile of dog shit, but I think Nin could have changed a little bit more than that. And that's why I'm giving it a solid D+. Now, Samurai. Samurai, upon looking at it, I feel like that they have been trying to boost the AoE capability and the charging. I don't know if they've changed the charge time, because apparently over the JP servers, Samurai mains were not happy with the amount of time it would take to cast their abilities. Like, their dot in particular, how long it takes to throw that out. Because they're sitting there, they're like... And then it finally goes out. But, like, it takes so fucking long to do. I get it. But you gotta remember, it's 60 seconds of a dot. That's a long time for one dot to be up. And, that should definitely be shortened, because it's just a dot. It's nothing major. I mean, most people can... Like, most classes can instant dot, like White Mage, Arrow. Boom, instantly. Arrow's on. They're not sitting there waiting for it to charge up. An arrow's like 30 seconds. So, I get their complaint. That could have been changed. And a few other things could have been changed. Like, the rotation in general should have been changed up a little bit more. And I feel like in possibly the next expansion, or in the future, the Samurai rotation itself, the whole thing will change. And I hope it does, because right now, I don't see its potential being that great. But I see that all the potency changes and adjustments that they've done so far is kind of gearing up to apologize, essentially, to those that were upset in the JP server. So I'm going to give that a C+, but I'm not going to make it major. It still needs more work. But But yeah, like its range attack was increased by 20. Like it didn't need anything like that. They're going to be constantly, spamming sword abilities. You're not going to be using your range by that much. But yeah, C+. Now for Machinist. Machinist just basically got 3 of its skills, 20 extra potency added onto it. Drill, chainsaw, anchor. They're all okay. Those are okay changes. I would like to see how they reflect with people that solo Palace of the Dead, because 20 potency increase in Palace of the Dead is huge. That would make soloing in Palace of the Dead a lot easier, so I don't think that when they did these changes, they thought of that for a moment. So if you're a Palace of the Dead runner, go take your Machinist, go run it now, because those are some pretty big fucking changes to Drill. And the fact that you get Drill with the crit boost, you're going to be one-shotting a lot of things going in there and leaving. So I suggest that if you're a Machinist main, go run Palace of the Dead now if you don't have your Necromancer title yet. I don't know much about Machinist, like the robot building part, because I only got it to like 60 or 70. I don't main it. But as a class that's not a caster and does that much damage in an instant, I would give it, a B+. No major changes, though, but I would like to have seen a little bit more creativity go into how the robots were built and, the potency to them, because I don't know their attacks that well. I know that Flamethrower is sort of slow. You just sit there and you do this one attack, and you're stuck in animation lock until it's over. But I feel like that could have changed in damage. That should have been, more damage should have been added to that, to Flamethrower. But I don't know. Again, because I don't main the class, I can't give a full-on opinion. But I feel like that should have been something that should have been addressed. So I'm just going to give it a B+ for now, because I don't play the class enough, and I'd like to see some changes to it. Dancer's probably the only one on this list that, again, I don't main, I don't particularly play, because it's always been the lowest DPS tier class as a DPS, and I've never played it because it relies on RNG procs to be able to hit everything off the best of your ability. And if I'm basically playing lottery wheel to do my damage, I'm not having fun. I'd rather be able to manually do my damage, and that's how that whole class plays. But its potency increases have been justified. Upon looking at the abilities and hearing everyone else's testimony regarding it, I'm going to give it the only A- out of all of these other ones. And I'll get to it later on, but, I'll get to the worst one in a moment. My worst one, I'm going to save for last, and I'm skipping it because of how mad I am at the class changes to it. But yes, Dancer, A- for all of its potency changes alone, but I feel like it should still not rely on the procs to get its major hits in, because RNG is just not enough to play that class. Or any class, for that matter. If we're going to be playing that, I might as well play a Lucky Punch class at that point. And what's the point of doing that? The next class I'm going to talk about is Summoner. Summoner got knocked down so fucking bad. It is now mid-tier. It is... A lot of people like it, and many more hate it, the changes. Mostly because of the size of the summons. I mean, yeah, you can control them, though, but they're still oversized as shit. It's hard to see mechanics when they pop off, and I feel like a little bit more visual adjustments should go into changing their sizes client side to the players. So, like, if I'm going into a duty as, like, say, my main, which I'll say later on as a DPS, and there's 3 summoners, and they're all spamming Titan, my eyes are going to go fucking blind. I'm not going to be able to see. But that's just a minor thing. That's animation stuff that could be changed. Potency changes, however, Astral Impulse increased by literally 10. Increased to 10. That's like the worst fucking thing I've seen. Ruby Right increased by 20. Fountain of Fire has been increased by 120. Or, I'm sorry, no, 20. I misread that. And, that's it. Those are subtle as shit. And right now, Summoner's mid-tier. That's not good. That is not good at all. It went from a near high tier that pretty much can surpass a Black Mage to nothing. It basically went to Astro levels of bad. And that's not a good thing to see a clash dip like that. I don't know why they would only do those changes. But another thing that I have an issue with Summoner, and this is just an offside thing, they get the caster role Addle. Now, Addle will proc off of Bahamut, which, that's fine, but outside of that, Addle has 0 uses to the other casters, and every other caster gets it. So why the hell do we still have it? And you could say, well, what if the you're fighting a raid boss and they have a raid-wide magic attack, and it lowers that, and it protects the party by 10%. You're still going to get hit for 90%, and it's a waste of time to even throw that out. That's a waste of a dot. Like, honestly, casters should have a damage dot, or another type of dot that does a little bit more than just what Addle does right now. And that ability alone, I feel like casters should have a proc that they all have that require Addle in some manner, and they get a benefit from it in their rotation itself. Because right now, Addle has never been in any rotation besides Summoner. Summoner is the only rotation for it, and it's the proc off, if you even want to proc it off for Bahamut. And at that point, why? You might as well just use anything else. I mean, really, anything else. I give Summoner, honestly, an F. An F for its changes. Its changes are terrible. It needs a lot more work. That needs so much more work that it's not even worth even playing right now. So if you're a Summoner main, get the f*** off Summoner. Get off Summoner now, play another class, pick up a melee class and see if you like it. I know it's outside of your nature as a caster to be in the background, or pick up a range class, be a bard or something. Anything. Be a dancer. Rely on RNG. Because at this point, Summoner's dead. It's as dead as Astro. So, hopefully when they get around to doing casters and healers again, because they didn't do Red Mage, and that's a little sad. That's literally the last thing on this patch note before the one I mentioned. When they get back to it, hopefully they readjust Summoner once more, because right now the state of Summoner's a piss joke. So, again, it gets the rating of an F. Last but not least is my main, that I've mained since Haven Ward. Black Mage. I was screaming in my office when I read these patch notes. I was fucking pissed off. The state of Black Mage and casters in general, to me, have always gotten the shit stick since Shadowbringers to now. To, like, even back during the Nier raids when they first came out. The hallway for the second Nier raid before the last boss, that hallway is a curse. It is called Caster Hell Hallway. Like, it's gotten its name because of the fact that a caster, in order to do any of their moves besides using shift cast, triple cast, or scathe, if you really want to kite something, you know, they have to stop moving to do any move. Most people that have mained Black Mage have switched off and done Machinist because it's that bad. And to see casters, you know, Yoshi P's main, by the way, suffer this bad is fucking gross. The rotation's beautiful. The current rotation for Black Mage, it feels like a fucking dream. It works. In the famous words of Todd Howard, it just works. Okay? Let me talk about the changes that have pissed me off. Ready? So we have Fire 3 and Blizzard 3 that have been added 20 potency damage for both, which you're never going to see that, especially if you're starting into Enochain, you're immediately going to be doing your level 4 spells. So seeing that 10, negligible. You're not going to see it. The changes are going to be almost next to nothing. And then this one, I screamed. I was incoherently mad to see this. Blizzard 4, Fire 4, 10 more potency damage. Why? You should explain this to me in an MMO. Why should a spell that is higher level than another spell do less damage? It's not the only one. I'm not done yet. Xenoglossy. Potency have changed from 660 to 760. So, for most of Shadowbringers, Xenoglossy was set to 750, which was an okay number for its time. But on release, it was even higher. So, that's great. But, here's what I was screaming incoherently pissed off about, and I threw a fucking tantrum over it. Okay, Paradox, your level 90 move that you get, that you weave between transpose and throw it up just to keep your fire proc. Or your ice proc if you really wanted to, which I don't know why you would, unless you were throwing it up because you got it getting off of fire. Only does 500. Xenoglossy, you can get back a free charge using Amplifier on the fly. Are you fucking kidding me, Yoshi P? That's your main, okay? That is your main. Why is it a level 90 move does 500 potency damage, and then a level 80 move does 760? Think about that for a minute. In what MMO have you ever played? I want to ask this to all the GMs, all the fucking people that work at Square Enix, the playtester team, anyone that plays the game, anyone that mains Black Mage. In what world, in another MMO, in another game, has a spell that is a higher level do less damage than one prior? At that point, why even bother with Paradox at all? Why even have it in the rotation? And another thing that I have an issue with, we now have to dodge a fucking shit ton of stuff. Casting is hard as fuck. You have to not move. You're a cannon. You're stationary. If you're not moving, you're doing damage. If you're moving to dodge mechanics, guess what? You're not doing damage, and if there's any melee, they're out DPSing you, because the entire time they're moving around the boss, they get their positionals off. You're staying in the background over here, just smacking away, dodging one mechanic after another, but oh, I can't cast. And you could say, well, you have 2 charges of triple cast, go spam them. You run through them fucking things like goddamn paper. I mean, realistically, dead serious, unless the cooldown on triple cast is reduced, and you get 3 or 4 casts of triple cast, or charges of it, that's the only way that you could salvage that. But honestly, to make it easier, just let casters cast while moving. That's been my biggest complaint since Shadowbringer. Casters need to be able to move while fighting. We should be able to cast while moving, with no negative impact towards potency damage. Just let us cast and move at the same time. Everyone else moves and does their attacks and shit. Bards do it. Machinists do it. Melee do it. It's hard to figure out why. I mean, those changes should have been adjusted to white mages and such, even the casters, the healers. I get it. It wouldn't make any sense to do that, but at the same time, the ranged and melee have such unfair advantage when their potency is dipped down to nothing, and the melees and all the other ones have high mid-tier potency, like the Nin that had that 120, or what is it? What was the Nin's ability that was changed to be nerfed to be even higher, right? Or even the Monk that got that change, right? Let's look at the Monk, okay? Phantom Rush was increased to 1,150 potency. But Black Mage's best move is 760. Oh, and by the way, in order to do more attacks to make up for that difference, you have to not move, while the Monk can. Does that make any sense? I'm not trying to be negative to Yoshi P or the team or, whatever, because I support the game. I'm paying my sub. I am buying the collector's edition. I bought 2 collector's editions. I care for the game, but what I don't understand is why isn't anything being checked? I don't feel like any of these skills have been checked at all. The potency adjustments just seem like a play test of sorts. Like a live test. Oh, we want to make sure that we're doing it right, so we're just going to add, here's 10 cents potency damage on the table. Go take that and go do something with it. That's what I feel like we were handed. It doesn't feel right. It feels wrong. And it shouldn't be like that. And Addle, again, like I said earlier, should be another dot that could be utilized by all casters or something to make up for that huge gap that is existing between ranged and melee combined with caster difference. Because look at how much more damage that the fucking melee and range can do now compared to casters. It's ridiculous. And it's because we can't move to do damage. If we're not using our GCDs to instant cast, we are falling behind. And you could say, well, why does it matter? It does fucking matter. And you could say, well, the only time it matters is if you're parsing and breaking our rules or whatever. Who cares? Make it balanced. Fix it. If you're going to make everything around Reaper, do it right. Don't half-ass it, because that's half-assed right there. Adding 10 more potency damage to the level 4 moves, and then 20 more to level 3 moves, and that's it. That's your major change. Okay, imagine this. The difference in damage now, when you do triple cast and do Fire 4 3 times, is 30 potency total in damage. So huge. Wow, that's... Oh. That's big fucking numbers. Wow, 30. Really? That's my change? I mean, honestly, you should be doing... Fire 4 should be close to, like, 400 damage to really balance out. Or higher. Like, 450. Plus the trait. Honestly, the damage is... Or, you know, even... No. 450 is a lot for Fire 4. How about, like, 390? Anything. Other than fucking 10. That's insulting. That is highly insulting. And I get it, you can do triple cast 2 times, and then you can do 60. Oh, huge. That's huge. That's a huge difference. Wow. 60? That's it? That's less than a Fire 1. No, for real though. The changes to casters have gotten the shit stick for a long while. It needs to change, because that's horrible. Melee, I don't understand why the JB community is complaining about casting time when people that main casters right now have gotten it even worse. Go look up any parse log of anyone casting, or anyone that's a black mage, and go look at how far down they've fallen. I love the rotation. I love its placement. I love all the procs. The dots could change a little bit, because casting Thunder sometimes to get your dot back is kind of inconvenient, but I understand that you could proc it with Sharpcast. But I feel like you should be able to proc different things with Black Mage. So, I'm going to give Black Mage an F-. I fucking hate the changes. I think they're horrible. I don't think they're an improvement at all. I think they could be thrown around. I think the spell speed in general, in the whole game, out of all skills, should be changed. Because it takes too long to be useful. You go look at the attack speed, skill speed of certain moves, and you go see how fast they're going. Look at the difference between skill speed and spell speed. And look how they balance out in the game, animation time-wise. And see, does that reflect with other classes? And I don't think they see that. I don't think Square Enix sees that. I see it. Anyone that has taken a Black Mage to level 90 right now will see and understand what I'm saying. This sucks. Okay? This completely sucks. You know what your rotation... It's like, you know what your rotation is, but the potency isn't there. The procs aren't fucking there, because sometimes they don't line up. And to make up for it, they fucking make the stronger moves weaker. That don't make any fucking sense. They make the stronger moves weaker, and the weaker moves stronger. Duh. In no MMO has that ever been a thing, and this is the first one for me. I've played RuneScape, Menton, Fly for Fun. Wow, I've played every MMO under the sun that you could possibly think of. Maple Story. I've played them all. And yet this one is just like... This change hurts my brain. It really does. And it upsets me. Bottom line, Black Mage gets a fucking F-. That is atrocious. Those changes, the neglect for fucking Paradox, that... No. F-. You get nothing. That was a horrible change. That should definitely be changed, and Paradox should be increased. Xenoglossy should go back to 750, put Paradox at 800, give it another dot, change the way how Sharpcast works, because honestly, having it be either Fire or Thunder is just kind of stupid. I feel like we should have another dot altogether. Change Addle or fucking get rid of it, because honestly, I have never once needed to use it because it doesn't proc anything. It doesn't proc off anything in the rotation for Black Mage, so to have it as a roll ability is fucking useless to me. Sleep has uses, okay? In Eureka or in Bajra when I need to cast it in order to run away or help my party get away because they're getting chased by that big level 40 dragon and they're hunting us the fuck down in Pagos and we're about to get murdered by it. I could cast Sleep and run away. It has a roll use. Addle doesn't. At any point do I need to ever cast it because the game doesn't tell you when a boss will do a magic raid wide unless you look it up. And why would I do that in a game that should automatically know you should be using this or tell you to? It's a situational one because it's magic lowering and accuracy lowering. Addle should be removed or changed, like I said, to a dot that does damage or increased magic damage while it's up. If you had a roll ability that increased magic damage while it was up, like Trick Attack, that'd be fucking useful if you had all casters. Or just one caster, even. The change would be immense. It'd be great. If it doubled potency damage for 10 seconds, I would be spamming that shit. Every caster would use it. But no one uses Addle. It goes unused. It's terrible. Again, huge loss. Lucid Dreams. People use it to get their MP back. White Mages specifically. And White Mage, Thin Air, by the way, off topic with this, Thin Air, fucking get rid of the stupid charges to where it's only one move. Put it back to where it was like 10 or 15 seconds of infinite MP. Because right now, the MP management on White Mage is kind of bad. It's really bad. Unless you're carrying around Super Ether, you're not getting shit done. It's not great. But those are my thoughts on the current patch 6.08. And I feel like I don't even want to play Black Mage anymore. As a main, I'm switching to Monk because I feel like casters are just shit. Casters are shit. And until Square Enix fixes them, that's going to be my thoughts the entire time until that changes. Because I'm not going to pick up Black Mage. The only time I'm going to use that class is if I do maps and I wanted to spam Thunder 4 and Flare. That's it. Realistically, that is the only time I'm ever going to use it. And it's sad, because I want to run Black Mage. I find the rotation fun. Unfortunately, it suffered the same fate as Consummoner, where the class used to be fun, and now it's not, because all of its damage are it's a one push button, and no fun to it, and maybe you occasionally throw up a dot. That's it, and I'm upset by it. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts and my opinions of it. And if you do have an opinion on certain classes or the way I perceive them, or if I talk bad about one, go leave it in the comment section. Go complain to me. Call me an idiot or whatever. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I said something wrong about one of the skills or whatever. But seriously, I support this game. I have nothing wrong with the devs. But these changes, they're negligible. It's like throwing... It's like, hey, imagine I'm Yoshi P. Okay, here you go. Ready? This is a dime. Here you go, kids. Have this. It's like that. Like, why the fuck? It just feels insulting. Here's 10 potency. You know, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Again, comment, like, subscribe, share this over Reddit or whatever, or your Discords or to one another, and, you know, have a good night.